finale, Braves and Mariners from T-Mobile Park here in Seattle, Washington on a brisk Wednesday afternoon in the Pacific Northwest. And as Brandon and CJ discussed, the loss of Ted Turner weighs heavily on all of Braves country. We will honor Ted throughout the day, but there's also baseball to be played this afternoon. And with that, there's plenty of news to investigate for the Braves this afternoon. Let's begin by taking a look at today's starter. Martin Perez was announced as the starter yesterday, assuming he did not pitch last night. He didn't, so this will be his first start in more than a week. You can see he went 5 scoreless against the Tigers back in Atlanta. Jim Jarvis is making his major league debut. He will start at shortstop. He has been raking, a left-handed hitter. Steps in for Jorge Mateo, who has a jammed finger after a couple of nights ago. He is not on the injured list, but they're giving him the day today. And then finally, we expected to see Grant Holmes this weekend. His start has been pushed back, so it'll be Chris Sale, Spencer Strider, and Bryce Elder. When you think about taking on the Dodgers, the Braves want to send their top arms out there and also want to make sure Spencer Strider gets an opportunity to continue to come back from his injury. So that's a look at the latest news. When we come back, the Braves look to win yet another series, a rubber game. Braves and Mariners, thrilled to have you with us on a Wednesday afternoon in Seattle on Braves Vision.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Southeast Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. By Alpha Insurance, your winning lineup for auto, home, life, and health. And by Georgia Power. Score big savings at georgiapower.com/tips. 60 degrees on this Wednesday afternoon. Clouds overhead, but the roof is open at T-Mobile Park to finish off this series between the Atlanta Braves and the Seattle Mariners. The lineup for Walt Weiss today brought to you by our friends at Racetrack. Drake Baldwin leading off again. Look all the way down there at the bottom. And congratulations to Jim Jarvis making his major league debut. He just got here about 90 minutes ago. He is thrust right into action as the shortstop today. And facing that lineup on the mound, the 26-year-old native of Oakland, California, Brian Wu.
Perhaps maybe the Braves catching him at the right time. His last 2 starts, giving up 13 earned runs in 9 innings, 6 home runs in those 2 games. He had not allowed a home run leading into that in his previous 5 starts. So it has been a struggle, just 3 strikeouts and no walks for the right-hander.
What do you have for the Ford Keys, partner?
Well, you know, yesterday we talked about left to center. Today, right is all right. Why? Because the Atlanta Braves are the best team against right-handed pitching with their 41 home runs and 811 OPS. So good matchup for them here this afternoon. And then all the small things. These first 2 games have been really tight, right? A couple of 1-run games here between the Mariners and the Braves. That means you got to do all the small things right. Playing good defense, making the plays, everything you got to do, get your runners over, and you got to do it one more time here this afternoon.
And before the game, All the Small Things was playing by Blink 182 over the loudspeaker, so that's a good sign. Let's take a look at the Car Shield defense for the Seattle Mariners. Arozarena, Rodriguez, and Joe left to right. And on the infield, Johnny Pareda getting the opportunity to catch today. Rowley is in the lineup again, but once more he's DHing, working his way back from an injury.
Will also be interesting with Wu. He is a fastball guy. 70% of his pitches have been fastballs, and we know that especially the top of this order has crushed fastballs this season.
First time that Brian Wu has faced the Atlanta Braves. 4th year in the bigs for him. 78th career start. And now he goes against Atlanta for the first time in his career, and he starts by facing Drake Baldwin. And a called strike. Home plate umpire today, Ryan Addison.
But Drake thought about it first pitch of the game, but then thought better of it. He does have a tendency to open up his strike zone, both top and bottom, so far this season.
Addison was a D2 college pitcher himself, so he knows about pitchers and batters complaining about balls and strikes back there as Baldwin fouls it away.
Might explain the big zone too, right? I mean, put a pitcher back there. It's like, let's go, boys. Swing the bats. Everything's a strike.
And pitched at Division II Lynn University in Boca Raton. He's a Miami native, Addison. Baldwin a homer in the series. That's his only hit. 1 for 8 and a 1-2 count. It has been an entertaining series so far. Monday, Seattle with a come-from-behind win, 5-4. Yesterday, the Braves got down 2-0, would score the final 3 and win it 3-2. And hoping to make Brian Wu do what he did the last 2 starts when he really struggled, as CJ mentioned. Anything diving a little deeper that you could see from those last 2 starts, CJ, as opposed to his first 5?
The slider hasn't been right. Again, it's a lot of fastballs. He's going to come at you with the heater, but you start looking at the secondaries, and his slider had been a pretty good pitch for him. It has not been so far this year. .417 batting average against, and the swing and miss overall for him has gone down, but especially on that slider.
Throws the slider there, and Baldwin and swings and misses at it. 1 away.
This is not a good slider. He got away with one here. Look where this pitch is. Probably never in the strike zone. Drake sees the spin and thinking there's a chance that's going to finish backdoor on the corner, and instead it just stayed out there. You're not going to get away with too many of those.
Ozzie Albies 17-game hit streak, longest in his career, tied for the longest active streak in Major League Baseball. During this hit streak, bumping his average from 269 all the way up to 329. What a run it's been for Ozzie. And those active hit streaks that I mentioned are Toyota Trends feature. So it's Ozzie and Mickey Moniak of the Rockies at the top.
Good take by Ozzie, and for these hitters, they also know with Brian Wu that he's going to come at you, right? Another guy, just like with George Kirby, extremely low walk rate, under 4%. That's elite level.
Ozzie aggressive 3-0, but ahead of it.
That's not a bad idea. You know, you have a strike thrower that might be the best pitch you get in the at bat. I have zero issue with Ozzie going after a 3-0, especially with the way he's swinging the bat right now.
(3-1) from Wu. Ozzie skies it. Rivas finds it for out number 2. So Ozzie's been hitting the ball extremely well, and so has this guy, Matt Olson. Homer number 300 of his career on Monday. Homer number 301 was the game winner yesterday for Atlanta. It's hard to put together a season like Matt Olson did in 2023 when he set the Braves franchise records for homer and runs driven in. But I know it's early. We're only game 38 of the season, but he's on pace to do something similar, if not better.
I believe I saw 11 home runs through 37 games that time around. He's up to what, 13 right now. But it is a pace, and it's a long season. And I will tell you this, there's a lot of people around the league paying a special close attention to Matt Olson and what he's been doing, and they try to counteract him when he comes into town.
So that takes us to our Zaxby's Who's Got the Sauce. This is what you were hitting on, CJ. Yes, 11, and at this point in 23, 13 already at 26.
It's exciting. We like thinking about these things. Now we've got to wait till we get a little bit more down the stretch here and talk about any potential Braves and personal records, but what a start to the year.
Brian Wu hoping for a 1-2-3 first. Leaves it high.
I don't see too many guys chewing gum like that the way that Brian Wu is.
He's going after it pretty good out there. Sixth-round pick for Seattle back in 2021. Pitched to Cal Poly for the Mustangs. Payoff pitch. We'll do it again.
The irony, too, I've been to St. Louis Obispo there where Cal Poly is. They have a big gum wall downtown where people just come and stick their gum on the wall. They have one here in Seattle, too.
Yeah. Well, maybe Brian Wu added to that during his days as a Mustang. Another foul ball. Just going back and looking at Brian Wu's college career, it was not that great. He actually went there as a two-way player, was known more as a hitter. But he had a 6.49 ERA, but he struck out a lot of guys. Had Tommy John surgery in his final season, but the Mariners were drafting him on potential. They saw an athlete. They saw a high strikeout to walk ratio, and that bet has certainly paid off for them. He has turned into a good one. A sub-3 ERA the last 2 seasons for Brian Wu.
It's something about college baseball in particular, right? These scouts have to work a little bit harder because most places are offensive environments. You start looking at conference ERAs, you'd be shocked at kind of what you see. I was actually looking at Conference USA today. Ironically enough, it's like a 5.9 conference ERA. That's average.
That's an above average at bat there for Matt Olson. 9 pitches, 4 foul balls, and he earns a walk. So yesterday we saw Michael Harris out in left field for the first time as a major leaguer. He had played it back in 2022 in the minors. He's back out in left field today and batting 4th again.
Not a lot of Braves have seen Brian Wu, Michael Harris included. Really only Mauricio Dubon and Mike Yastrzemski have any significant plate appearances against him.
96, swing and a miss, 0-2.
And that means a lot of conversations after at bats, right, for guys and saying, what does it look like? We can talk about in the meeting, but now that you saw that fastball in a live at bat, you share as much information as you possibly can with the next guy. Those splits tell you it should be a pretty good matchup this afternoon for Michael, especially if he gets fastballs inside the strike zone.
Michael Harris gives it a ride out to center field, but Rodriguez will set up shop and take it. A walk, but nothing on the board for the Braves in the first. A lot of Braves fans in the ballpark today as we go to the bottom of the first. It's kind of fitting to see all these Braves fans here today on the day that Ted Turner passes at age 87. He is the reason that so many Braves fans are coast to coast and cheering on this team still today in 2026. Racetrack lineup for the Seattle Mariners, starting with J.P. Crawford, and then Cal Raleigh will DH and bat second. So Martin Perez, it was supposed to be Grant Holmes, but the Braves kind of switching course, CJ, and they go with the southpaw.
And I like it. He's been good, right? Martin Perez, 6 games, 4 starts. You see the numbers there. The ERA's been good. The opponent's batting average has been solid. He's been locked in.
And he gets weak contact off the bat of Crawford.
And he's pitched here quite a bit, right? He understands. I think some of these guys that he's faced, there's a handful that he's faced quite a few times, but he's been in this ballpark a lot all those years in the American League West. 14 games, 11 starts at T-Mobile. Really good ERA over that time for Martin Perez at 3.3.
Well rested. Last time he was out there was 8 days ago, last Tuesday against Detroit, and threw 5 scoreless back in Atlanta. Cal Raleigh out to left field. It was off the end of the bat, and Michael Harris is there. Car shield defense for the Atlanta Braves. Again, Harris making his second big league start out at left. Dubon and Yaz out there, but a lot of eyes on the shortstop. Major league debut for the 25-year-old Jim Jarvis.
How's he doing right now? A little bit of a whirlwind. We talked about what, maybe 15 hours ago he found out that he was getting called up.
Yeah, Walt Weiss told the story with Ben and Nick on radio pregame, but the call came to Jim about 1 a.m. So he hurried, got some stuff together, slept a little bit, then took the earliest flight out here this morning. Of course, it's a long flight, and arrived about 90 minutes before the game, and boom, you're in the lineup, and here's your big league debut.
It's about the lowest quality sleep that you can get, right? You're absolutely racing in your mind, and what a great moment for him, and hopefully he can kind of calm his nerves and kind of get his wits about him. But that is a lot, but very exciting, and congratulations to Jim Jarvis. Welcome to the pension plan.
He's got a good flow out there too at that shortstop spot. A called strike and no challenge from Rodriguez. Looked like that might have missed, but for Perez, a 1-2-3 first.
Their sandwiches, Papa John's.
Ted Turner was the thing that pops in my mind, a sinful saint. Because he raised all kinds of hell about everything, but it was all for a good purpose.
And Ted Turner, the things that he accomplished and the way that he grew the game of baseball and the Atlanta Braves franchise cannot be overstated. He was an icon. He is an icon. And CJ, I think he's really the biggest reason that we're on something called Braves Vision today, that is owned and operated by the Braves, because that was his original vision when he owned the team back in the 70s.
Revolutionary, right? And the idea, and you mentioned it earlier, kind of the fight that he had to go through to make that happen. MLB owners did not like the idea of the Braves being on in their markets, but it created one of the biggest fan bases in all of baseball, and we get to now enjoy that, right? The fruits of his labor are now in our favor as we make our way around the country and see all these awesome Braves fans.
0-2 here to Dubon. Swing and a miss. Yeah, we tell the story all the time, but it is really a thrill for CJ and Wiley and I to hear the stories of others coast to coast as they come up to us and they tell us, I'm a TBS kid, and now I'm passing that on to my kids, and hopefully they pass it along to their grandkids. And that is directly correlated to Ted Turner's vision in 1976 when he bought the Braves for $10 million, and then a year later used satellite technology to broadcast games nationwide on TBS. That was his baby, the first quote-unquote superstation, and we certainly mourn the passing of Ted today at age 87. So maybe the boys can win one today for Ted Turner. Austin Riley at the plate, 2 for 8 in the series. Bouncing it foul.
It's a good point French you brought up too. It's something you don't think about back then, and especially for me, even being a little bit older, anytime you played the Braves, or if you were playing for the Braves, that your friends and family around the country could see, right? He was talking about his grandparents and the ability for them to watch him early in his career. Now, of course, the games are everywhere and everybody else is caught up.
Strike zone a little wide here early for Ryan Addison, and Riley's down looking.
We've seen Austin Riley be kind of hesitant so far here early on when it comes to ABS. He's only challenged once so far this year. I think he would add a case on that one.
2 down. Here's Yastrzemski. And those of a younger age who don't remember Ted Turner and all that he did for the Braves, just also remember this as a guy that started CNN back in 1980.
Is that all?
Yeah, I mean, the list goes on and on for the impact that he has had in so many ways. But forever a Brave, that is for sure.
Listening to Joe Simpson tell the story about how they came up with the name for the Atlanta Thrashers was pretty genius as well. And just asking his assistant, what's the state bird in Georgia? Thrasher. All right, we're going to be the Thrashers.
Let's do it.
Mentioned some of the guys that have history against Brian Wu. Not too many. Mike Yastrzemski 2 for 8 in his career. Homered off Wu last year.
Yeah, still looking for his first homer this season as a Brave. Two outs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. This one popped back towards us. Braves coming in here today 26-11 after the win yesterday. Best in baseball. Mariners 3 games below 500, but in a close race in the AL West so far. What's been an underwhelming division this year. And we're going to get a violation here on Wu. Pitch clock violation to take it to 3-2.
So he's talking about his delivery. You can see him right. There's a lot of movement when he's on the mound. He's doing a lot of swaying. And his argument was, I started my delivery before the pitch clock got down to 0.
Not winning that argument with Ryan Addison, and now a payoff pitch coming. So Wu won't strike out the side, but he will retire the side in order in the top of the second.
1,000 bonus cash on most Chevy models.
I grew up, watching TBS and with my brother's in-laws all the time, and great fun and big fans. Raised my daughters to be Braves fans, and grandson's here. He's a Braves fan, so we're just grateful for Ted Turner because he changed the game for us.
That story coming all across the stands from section to section. And again, you heard from David Greer there. We've got representation from Great Falls, Montana, Juneau, Alaska, Salem, Oregon, Salt Lake City, Utah. Guys, the universal presence of Braves baseball. I think the best way to say it is the sun never sets on Ted Turner and the Braves empire.
Yep, and I think it's, we've talked about coast to coast, as you said, Wiley. I think back to when we were in D.C. a couple of weeks ago, and someone came up from Maine, and after that I met someone from New Hampshire. And everybody kind of has that same story of how the Braves on TBS, because of Ted Turner, changed the trajectory of their fandom, switched them to Braves fans, and now that lives on through those younger faces you see in the crowd today, and passing it on from generation to generation.
It really is incredible, right? You think about the kind of impact you'd like to have with your life, and this one is just going to keep going and going and going.
And it's certainly fun right now with the season that this team has going. They have yet to lose a series, and trying to continue that trend.
How about a little hat tip, right? To all those kids that go into a school in another city where there's another team that are willing to wear their Braves gear. You probably get a little pushback in the schoolyard when that happens. Stay strong, kids.
That called strike right there at the knees. That's a great cutter from Perez to take care of a good hitter in Josh Naylor.
Got the nice combination of Martin here early on where he is painting the corners with all of his pitches. That one is in the zone. Naylor didn't like it, but you also have Ryan Addington here, at least early on, willing to call those corners and maybe a little bit more. That's a nice match for Martin.
So Perez got Rodriguez looking to end the first. He gets Naylor looking to start the bottom of the second. And now Randy Arozarena.
Check out the Mariners we talked about here with Martin Perez and why you may have him in the game today. 627 OPS against left-handed pitching, near the bottom, 27th in baseball. A little bit better against the righties. They're 14th overall. So you had that chance to get a lefty into the rotation today. If you're wondering why the Braves did what they did, I think there's a couple of reasons, but this is a big one.
Riley makes the play. Yeah, and Grant Holmes, just to clarify for those who may be wondering, there's no injury, there's no issue, just a decision to start Perez, and Holmes available out of the bullpen, CJ.
Yeah, which is interesting, right? If Martin does well, gets deep enough in the game, then you don't necessarily have to use him unless you want to give him an inning, right, to maybe keep him sharp. And then what happens this weekend in Los Angeles, even though the Dodgers offense is down a little bit right now, you certainly don't take them lightly. It's going to be a good matchup.
Olsen, diving stop. Foot race. Safe. That's a shame. What an effort by Olsen. But Young speeding down the line just beat it out.
Yeah, Martin Perez going to be kicking himself here a little bit. He got caught watching it. It was an amazing play, and he was just too late, unfortunately, to get over there. And the efforts of Matt Olson come up empty with a base hit. But what an amazing play here once again for Matt Olson. He was expecting Martin to be there for the flip. He wasn't, changed gears, tried to beat Young to the base, but not enough time.
Well, you're a lefty. You went through that.
Yeah.
That moment where you realize, oh, shoot, I got to be over there.
It's not the word you say in your head, but you're
okay.
close. And part of it is lefties, most of the time your momentum is taking you toward third base. Right now, Martin doesn't fall off a lot that way, but there's a little bit. You're going to get a challenge here.
As Sean Murphy lost both challenges the other day in his season debut, he wins this one.
Had to feel good, right? Want to get that first one for Murph. But I do think it does happen with lefties because you're kind of spinning off. And I think Martin probably, you hear that, and an instinct was that's probably a base hit or foul. And Matt makes this great play, and then you're like, as you said, oh, shoot, sort of.
Or some other four-letter word.
It's a bad feeling. It is a bad feeling when you're standing there and you realize I'm definitely not fast enough to beat this guy. I'm going to give it a shot, but I'm going to come up short.
Joe lines it towards Yastrzemski, and Yastrzemski comes in and makes the catch.
EV.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Yellowwood brand pressure treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it. By Delta Airlines, keep climbing. And also by Xfinity, reliable Wi-Fi at one price. Xfinity, imagine that. Back at T-Mobile Park here in Seattle. Hey, dust off your boots, Braves country. Country and Western Night, Truist Park, May 22nd, so it's coming up. Go to Braves.com/promos for your tickets and more info. But there's a straw cowboy hat giveaway presented by Visit Sarasota. Live country music and flair throughout the ballpark on May 22nd. Sean Murphy leading off the third for Atlanta. Broken bat, stays fair. Rivas a little bit wide with the throw, but the play is made. And now coming to the plate, Jim Jarvis, major league debut. Here's his first big league at bat. 11th round draft pick by the Tigers in 2023. Traded from Detroit to the Braves organization in the middle of 2025 of the Rafael Montero deal. And he steps up there now for the first time as a big leaguer.
So we saw him in spring training at times ready to come over from the minor leagues and made some really nice plays defensively. He stuck out over at shortstop, and you do get a nice little advantage here with him hitting left-handed with Mateo being down right now, not on the IL, but they wanted to get somebody else up here, and so kind of right timing here for Jarvis.
Saw the batting average in Gwinnett. Good contact hitter, solid speed, 15 stolen bases this year in Gwinnett as well. Swings and he fouls back the fastball. And if you weren't with us a couple of innings ago, what a story it is. He found out that he was getting the call about 1 a.m. So you're thinking less than 15-16 hours ago, and all of a sudden here he is flying across the country, putting on the uniform and stepping out there.
It's a lot. That is a lot on the body and the mind to take in, but there is nothing that he would change because he is now a big leaguer.
(3-1). Ground ball scooped up at short by Crawford. A high throw, and you see the speed there from Jarvis, but he is out and 0 for 1. Braves just one base runner so far against Wu. That was the walk by Olson in that 9-pitch at bat in the first, but Atlanta still hitless today.
You can see how comfortable he is throwing that fastball at the top of the zone, right, four-seamer there to Drake Baldwin. It is not necessarily one that has that great life and that great induced vertical break we talk about a lot, but it is that kind of lower arm angle in which he comes from, and he does get some shoot. Throws it up there with some confidence, and then you get the sinker that's going down the other way.
Yeah, 25-degree arm angle, helping to create that rising effect on the four-seamer. But again, vulnerable to the home run ball. 26 of them last year. As CJ mentioned, 6 this year, including 4 home runs he gave up against the Cardinals on the 25th of April. But he looks strong so far through 3 innings here today.
Just got better at Wendy's.
So my name is Mary. I'm from Spokane, Washington, over here to watch the Atlanta Braves. Yay. So the TBS was on the only thing on TV when my husband was growing up, so he totally watched them all the time and got me hooked when we got married. So I've been a Brave fan ever since too, 40-some years.
And you are not alone. That is a story for so many of us today as we celebrate the great life and the legacy of the great Ted Turner, who passed this morning at the age of 87.
I love hearing those stories of sharing your fandom, whether it's with your children or your spouse or your friends, whoever it may be, and then the influence and the excitement that other people have because of it.
I see, you know, I don't have kids myself, but I see the joy in passing on the Braves fandom from my brothers, them passing it on to their kids now, and the pride that they take in being a Braves fan in Philadelphia country, out there in Jersey and southern Jersey, and then the other part of my family in Texas, fighting with those Rangers fans out there.
Love it.
But doing so with pride, and really that's all directly because of Ted. And even all the way out here, 2,600 miles away from Atlanta, so many folks with those Braves jerseys on today. Johnny Pareda, line drive, single to left to lead off the bottom of the 3rd.
Pareda got pretty excited about that base hit that he got there. This is only his 2nd start this season behind the plate. He only came in with 3 plate appearances, and he turns on that 2-seam fastball from Martin Perez.
He just got called up Saturday because of the Cal Raleigh health concerns. Squaring to bunt there, Rivas.
I thought there was a spot last night where maybe Rivas would have bunted. He doesn't, but here he is now in the 3rd inning, at least thinking about it.
Keeps the bat back, 2-0.
I don't know if we're getting in trouble or not for telling this story, but I'm going to do it anyway. So yesterday when that foul tip happened, where it was Rivas that was hitting, the ball hit the knob of the bat, Drake caught it. It should have been strike 3. In that inning, that would have been 3 strikeouts, striking out the side. Apparently on the radio side, they had a contestant that inning. Oh.
Riley can't stop it. Down to the corner. Harris fires in, but everybody's safe. Runners at 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. It's a double for Rivas.
So it's the cutter for Martin. When you're a left-handed pitcher, use this cutter to right-handed hitters. This is one of the few places that you can hit it hard, which is right down the line. And that's exactly where he got it. And a lot of times as a corner infielder, you want to know if that cutter's coming for that exact reason, but he was still able to get it past Austin Riley. Well, we got bigger things going on, but the end of that story was somebody would have won a $15,000 lawn tractor had they gotten that call right.
So you think that there's a lawsuit to be had on Will Little, the home plate umpire yesterday?
I mean, I don't know what you do at this point. The rules are the rules, but tough break for a Braves fan that was really hoping that they had gotten that call right.
Now Perez in a tough spot here. J.P. Crawford grounded out in the 1st, and now he stands up there in the 3rd with 2 on and nobody out.
So the infield plays back here, and I agree with the idea, right? You have nobody out right now. You hope that you can get at least 1 out here with J.P. Crawford. Obviously double play that is in effect here, so you are willing to concede the run despite the fact that Wu looks really locked in here so far this afternoon. You're just trying to avoid the big inning, and part of that is making sure you get J.P. Crawford out.
Crawford a homer in each game of the series so far. Deep breath from Martin Perez. Bouncing in the curveball, 3-2. A walk would load him and bring up Raleigh. Boy, you'd love a strikeout right here. Payoff pitch. Just a touch high. Bases loaded. And a man who hit 60 homers last year in Cal Raleigh roaming to the plate. Hitless in his last 16 at-bats. 0 for 4 in this series as he fouls this one right on top of our heads here in the booth.
I don't like the foul balls coming back here today because of the sky. Just like an outfielder, you can't see it very well. The sky is like rubbed up baseball white right now.
Yeah, we had sun for the last 2 games, but overcast today. That miss, 2-1.
So early on we saw Martin hitting those corners whenever he wanted to, and now it's gotten away from him a little bit where he is missing off the plate with that changeup, two-seam fastball, cutter, all those pitches that he likes to live on the edge with.
To short, Jarvis has it to second for 1. Double play. So the kid out there making his big league debut, Jim Jarvis. Tough in between hot, but he handles it and starts a double play to get 2 outs.
That is extremely impressive for a rookie making his big league debut, who's pretty much operating on no sleep. There's that changeup. Ball's hit pretty hard, and it was a short hop. You wonder for a second, could he get it in the air? He played it perfectly, and you'll take that exchange right now. That is not an easy play. Excellent work from Jim Jarvis.
Paredes scores, so the Mariners with a 1-0 lead, and now you've got a runner at third here. And the batter, Rodriguez. Bouncer foul, heads up over there. Rivas went down to avoid it hitting him and lost his helmet.
That's why you always take that lead in foul territory in case that ball does hit you. Started to put his hands up. Not a great idea either. Just get out of there.
I think he had some funny words for his teammate Rodriguez.
We wonder about Rodriguez's first at bat and the fact that he didn't challenge on a pitch that looked like it was outside the zone. Only 1 challenge for him this year. He's not been aggressive with ABS.
Martin Perez very quick through the first 2 innings. He only threw 19 pitches. He's thrown 21 here in the third, trying to get out of it. Staying alive, Julio Rodriguez.
Good pitch right there, right? He put the previous changeup right on the corner. You don't want Julio getting too comfortable looking at pitches and getting locked in on the outside part of the plate. The fastball in, it was even in off the plate, but Julio offered at it. This opens up now more options for Martin.
Another bouncer foul. Oh, E by Carlos Cardozo. Got to make that play.
Yeah, especially at that kind of exit velocity, nothing really behind it.
Another 2-2. Softly to Ozzie. Scoop and a throw. So the Mariners load him up, but Perez only gives up 1.
Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Well, let's talk about Ozzie Albies as he leads off the fourth. Alpha Insurance best coverage. So ranks among second baseman, first in hits, first in runs. Yeah, first everywhere for Ozzie.
Yeah, he's off to a really great start here and deserving of having that number 1 on the back of his uniform, because among these second basemen, he has been the best in baseball.
Popped out back in the first, 0 for 1 today.
What a great job by Martin, right? Gets away from you a little bit in that inning. He got bases loaded, nobody out, and only 1 run scores.
And I would think for Jim Jarvis, now he can maybe exhale. You pass that first test, you breathe a little easier.
You'd like to think so. It was an excellent play. It was not an easy one by any stretch of the imagination, and did a really nice job getting that double play.
Sure, a lot going through his mind.
Looking at Mateo's fingers. Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, Jorge Mateo. So bring in Wiley on this, but an issue with his finger that happened on Monday. He was able to play the last couple of days, but the issue with that finger, the reason that Jim Jarvis is ultimately here.
Yeah, that was something that, excuse me, BG, but that was something that they felt like wasn't going to be a significant issue. And then I think, as the days unfolded, it was kind of, you know what, off day Thursday, let's give Jorge a couple of days here. And the other piece to this, too, is you look at the starting pitchers the Braves are going to face, including today, 4 out of 5 are right-handers. And Jim Jarvis has been swinging a pretty good left-handed bat down the minor leagues. They wanted to give the kid a shot.
It makes some sense. Even though Mateo has put up some good numbers against righties this year, he's not 100%. Then he can't be the same guy in that big series coming up.
And also for Jim Jarvis, who's from San Diego, that'll be kind of cool for him to be at Dodger Stadium, have a lot of his family and friends be able to make that short trek up the coast.
Yeah, to potentially have, obviously, San Diego and playing the Padres would be that first kind of back in your hometown, but close enough where just your second game in the big leagues could be quite a few friends and family. Take the train up. We've done it.
Yeah, we did that last year. That was awesome.
And you don't even have to have the right ticket.
Apparently,
PG can tell you can buy any ticket and still just get on the train whenever you want.
Not only did I buy the wrong train ticket once, I did it twice. That's how smart I am. So I'm sitting there on the train on the ride, and it takes them a while for them to come back and scan your ticket. So we're about halfway in before they come back, and I'm sweating bullets. I'm thinking if he looks at this, he's going to see it's for a week from now. Scanned it, it beeped okay, never saw it, and I got the trip up the coast.
That's a fun ride too. That was enjoyable. We had the national game, so the television crew left a day early to go from San Diego to LA. It's an easy train ride.
Yeah, it is really gorgeous. Payoff pitch, and Ozzie takes it upstairs, so the Braves will take that leadoff walk. How about our Whataburger what a play, and how about we make it plays? Matt Olson, homer 300 and 301.
Been a good series for him as you see him going to left center for number 300. The excitement in the dugout. It was a great inning for the Braves, and then last night this one huge into left center again, nearly the same identical spot there for Matt Olson, and that was the game winner for the Braves as they held on to win that one 3-2.
Set up the rubber game today. So it's homers in 6 of the last 9 games for Matt Olson as he continues to have an amazing start to this season.
So Matt Olson had the 9-pitch walk in his first at bat. You have Ozzie there going 8 pitches deep to get a walk here against who he comes in tied for the best walk rate in all of Major League Baseball. So a couple of impressive walks. Only once has he walked 2 batters in a game this year.
8th start of the season for the right-hander. He still has not given up a hit. 60 degrees, but tell you what, until the clouds burn off and the sun shines through, did yesterday late afternoon, it can be a little chilly here at T-Mobile Park.
Yeah, I bet you the feels like is a little bit lower here, and it can be a lot worse. I've been here quite a bit over the years, and it can get pretty chilly, and the rain can get really bad. And even though they technically have a roof, it doesn't enclose the entire ballpark, so you can actually have, if it's windy enough, some of that rain that makes its way into the stands and even the bullpen.
A lot of long sleeves and some jackets here today at T-Mobile Park, which opened back in 1999, replacing the old King Dome.
Middle of the season, right?
Yep.
Which is kind of a weird one. You're never going to probably see that again.
Oh, that got Ryan Addison pretty good on the mask. He says, I'm good.
Kind of comes with the territory, unfortunately, for catchers and umpires. Four-seam fastball, little upshoot, and see Matt Olson getting under it and fouling it straight back, direct hit to the mask.
He's just 40 years old last year. He got his first assignment in a championship series, worked the LCS with the Seattle Mariners against the Toronto Blue Jays. Of course, the Blue Jays would win that in 7, but Ryan Addison was the home plate umpire for game 1 of that series that Seattle won 3-1.
And he's been a good one. When you look at kind of some of those numbers that we have on umpires, only 11 ABS challenges that have been overturned, so that's less than 2 per game for him so far.
And he's back and ready, and so is Wu, so is Olson. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss at the sweeper.
That's a good one here from Brian Wu. Mentioned some of the issues he had with his slider last time, but the sweeper, that has been a good pitch for him all season long.
So this is the Brian Wu that the Mariners saw the last 2 years in the first 5 starts this season before he ran into trouble his last 2 times out. But looking back to form today. Harris late, 96 that time. Ooh, look out.
Well, further up, a little further in than Brian Wu wanted it, and actually ended up just kind of missing Michael's elbow pad.
Maybe it's just the pop of the mid or how it looks from up here, CJ, but when he throws that fastball, I keep waiting for 98 or 99 to pop up there.
Well, it definitely plays higher than what you see on the radar gun. It's still a good fastball, right? Averaging 96 miles an hour this year on both of them. A lot of head bobbing going on today with him. Bobblehead day.
And that gum. Harris stays alive. 97 that time on the fastball.
It's almost like he's got earbuds in and he's listening to music the way he's been kind of bobbing his head up and down out there trying to catch a rhythm, and he's been in one so far this afternoon.
See if the Braves can disrupt that rhythm of the 26-year-old right-hander. That's the slider. So he got Olson on the sweeper. Now Harris on the slider. 5 strikeouts for Brian Wu.
Again, good pitch here. He's made the adjustments compared to those previous 2 starts and getting ahead with the fastball and trying to finish with that sweeper and slider combination.
The Braves have not been held hitless through 4 innings all season, but Wu is trying to do that with 1 more out here in the 4th today. And it will not happen. It's Dubon seeing the first pitch, lining it to right. Ozzie to third there at the corners. Ah, we love that.
Well, some good success for Mauricio Dubon in his career. This is now the 5th hit that he's had against Brian Wu, and now 13 at bats, and staying inside this pitch really nicely. It's a sinker, so it's going to run in on him. Pulls those hands in far enough to get some barrel to it.
So the reverse announcer jinx works, and
nice.
now let's see what Riley can do here. Grounder to third, in between Hop taken, and Rivas makes the play. Stranded at the corners, still 1-0 Mariners.
Being able to watch it like at a national level every night after school, every day after school you come on and Braves would be on. And so I think that was just great, and it's just kind of carried on throughout the years too. So we're super excited, sad of his passing, but again, the legacy will live on.
Well, that was Pat Thomas at Gig Harbor, Washington. And guys, full disclosure, I told him he had to pick a place where he was from. But truth be told, he moved all across the country as a kid. And the one constant for him, whether it be in the Midwest, East Coast, West Coast, was being able to watch Braves baseball on TBS.
I kind of like that. Didn't think about that when you're on the West Coast and being able to come home from school and Braves games would be on, right? Depending on what time you got home.
Yep.
4:08. Braves on.
And when the Braves were on the West Coast, for me, I had to either convince my parents to stay up late or sneak down when they didn't know I was up from my bedroom and watch them out on the West Coast back in the day. But so many people sharing those wonderful stories today about their memories of what Ted brought to them and their childhood and their family through Braves baseball on TV. Naylor with a swing and a miss. Perez got him looking in the second inning.
And Martin is not afraid to throw that left-on-left changeup, and it's been pretty effective for him this year. He's not allowed to hit to a lefty on his changeup so far this season. He uses it 21% of the time to lefties. That is a big number.
That stays fair. Naylor didn't really bust it out of the box, so he's out over there at first base.
It's the kind of pitch that Leo Mazzoni would absolutely love. The left-on-left changeup. For the longest time, it was pretty unconventional. And Martinez made a living using that pitch very well.
Leo Mazzoni, of course, legendary Braves pitching coach, Braves Hall of Famer. Here's a Rosarena upstairs. Hear the stories of how Major League Baseball players from different parts come to the United States and how they defect from their homeland to be a part of this game. And Randy Arozarena is another one of those stories as he grounds to third. But Randy Arozarena, for those that don't know the story, all defections are not created equally, and he defected from Cuba to Mexico in 2014 when he was 19 on a small broken boat with 8 strangers he didn't know, an 8-hour journey across the Yucatan Channel with 15-foot waves. Said there was a constant fear of sharks or capture, but made it safely to Mexico. Played in the Mexican League for a couple of years, eventually would come to the States, signing with the Cardinals, and then in 2020 he had the breakout postseason with Tampa Bay, and the rest is history. But think of all the sacrifices guys like him make, all the risks to just a chance to play the game in America.
It really is incredible. It's hard to wrap our brains around it, right? If you were born in this country and were fortunate to be raised here, and thinking about what others would be willing to do just to get here.
Tough play here. Riley cannot get it. Almost, but thankfully he's okay. That could have been scary.
This one coming down quickly, and Austin Riley did not have a lot of time. If it's up in the air a little bit longer and you can get camped, you could probably make the catch.
I always worry about a jammed knee against a short wall like that.
At least they have the padding.
Yes.
Like the places that don't, that have some of the brick wall, that certainly concerns you as well.
Watch the fan here that gets it. It's a Riley jersey. Well, he reached for it. He did eventually get the baseball. Gretchen promises. For Perez, 7 outs via ground balls, including the last 5. And the first 2 here in this inning. Now he tries to get Young. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Change up. Gets Cole, and a 1-2-3-4. Yeah, you can land on water. Hoping this guy makes it safely. Top 5. 1-0 Seattle. Smooth landing out here in the Pacific Northwest. Racetrack fueling up feature. How about this? Most games back in any division entering play today, and the NL East 4 of the 5 are on there.
Well represented is that National League East on that graphic. So the Braves have, what, a 9.5 game lead right now. It is really early, obviously, but in the division, which is wild. You could take the other 5 divisions and look at the second place teams, add all of those up together, that only gets you to 7.
Wow.
That is how things have started here so far for the Braves, and we're pretty good with it.
Just a commanding lead here on May 6th. Now the Phillies have started to turn things around a little bit. They have won 7 of 8 since the change of manager. I don't think it's because of the change in manager. I have a lot of respect for Rob Thompson. But they are starting to play better baseball.
Their pitching has gotten right, which I think was something that you figured would happen. We saw Zach Wheeler make his debut against the Braves. He looked like the old Zach Wheeler. They got a good start from Nola. Luzardo has been a lot better, and so as their starting pitching has gotten their act straightened out, they've been winning more ball games. But even during this run that they've been on, they've only picked up a game because the Braves have been playing so well.
Meanwhile, the Mets, they got snowed out in Denver yesterday, so the Braves left Denver at a pretty good time.
It was beautiful when we were there, those last 2 days especially.
And the Braves leave, the temperatures drop, the snowstorm comes through, so they're playing 1 today, and then they're going to play again tomorrow on their mutual off day. That is tough for both of those clubs to lose an off day in May.
And they bumped the first game up of the series right on Monday.
Yaz hits it into foul ground, and Rivas over there. .74 pitches for Wu. The Braves have fouled off 23 of his pitches, so there's been some contact, but so far just the 1 hit last inning by Dubon.
And he's only got up over 90 one time this year. 92 pitches 3 starts ago.
Yeah, they're a little careful with him. He's young still, 26. He does have some injury history. I mentioned the Tommy John surgery he had in college 5 years ago, but forearm inflammation in 23, had an elbow issue in 24. And last year in the postseason, he missed the DS because he had some pec tightness, and he returned to pitch in relief in the ALCS, and actually was part of that Game 7 where the bullpen between him and Edward Bizardo kind of folded late and lost that game in that series.
And you can see it pretty consistently where the Braves are struggling against his fastball today. Is that because of that lower arm angle? The barrel is getting underneath the baseball, so they're either swinging and missing, or you're seeing the ball in the air.
Stay 1-2 to Murphy. He expanded on the sweeper. That's a half-dozen strikeouts now for Brian Wu.
It's a nice combination. Again, you're thinking about the fastball. How do I get on top of it? You see that sweeper out of the hand. Looks like it's going to be in the zone. It just keeps going and going.
Second big league at bat for Jarvis. Grounded out to short in the 3rd. Talked about him being from San Diego, but he did play his college ball at Alabama for the Crimson Tide. 4-year starter at shortstop from 2020 through 2023 before the Tigers drafted him in the 11th round. Slider is 2-1 here to Jarvis. And Jim Jarvis's older brothers, both very good baseball players. Brother Luke played at Auburn, briefly in the minors. Brother Mike played at San Diego State. And he's in his 6th season in the minors with the Pirates organization. But it's Jim Jarvis, the first of the family to make it to the big league level.
So little brother, the first one of the 3.
How about that? Dad Chip was a good football player at the University of San Diego back in the day. So a lot of athletes in that Jarvis family. Fouls away the 3-2 4-seamer.
The on-base percentage really impressive. I know it's only 33 games in the minor leagues for him, but 418, 23 walks to just 27 strikeouts. So doing a good job working counts, putting the ball in play, and showing a little bit more power this year too.
And fighting against Wu.
And not the name of the game, right? But 4 home runs for him already this year at the minor league level. His career high had been 6 that he had in college, right? So you look at his minor league numbers, and 5 was his career high. So he was well on his way.
Another 3-2 and another foul ball. What a good at bat here for Jim Jarvis. That's J.R. Ritchie's sister recording this for Jim Jarvis's family, who has not been able to make it here yet. They're on their way. They're scrambling to get here. And unfortunately, he is down looking. It has been a dominant afternoon so far for Brian Wu. He struck out 7 through 5 and only given up 1 hit. All right, so here's who's in your picture. On the right, that is Jim Jarvis's sister Kate, so she has made it. In the middle, J.R. Ritchie's fiance McKenna, and on the left, that is Grant Holmes' wife Sammy. She was the one shooting the footage before we went to break of Jim Jarvis at the plate, and they know each other from their significant others, and for sister Kate, her brother, being in the minors together. And how cool that they all get to sit there and take in this moment with Jim Jarvis making his big league debut.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, and probably a little bit surreal as they're all sitting there having that conversation to see a couple of players from AAA now making their debuts this year, in J.R. Ritchie and Jim Jarvis.
And you think for Sammy Holmes, she knows what it's like because she saw her husband Grant go through a decade in the minors before getting his big league opportunity a couple of years ago. The stories they could tell. Yeah, it looks like a challenge here for Murph. And Sean Murphy 2 for 2 today.
How quickly he has changed his fortunes here when it comes to the ABS. A quick 0 for 2 the other day, just 11 pitches into the game.
Both teams still have each of their challenges.
Interesting part of this lineup here today with Connor Joe in there that Rob Refsnyder is not. Part of the reason they signed him.
Perez so far glad that Joe is in there. Joe is 0 for 2.
But Rob Refsnyder's been one of the best kind of platoon right-handed hitters against lefties in baseball for a while. He's been a really good bench piece, and he's just not getting it done against lefties this year, so he's not in the lineup. But that was kind of the reason that they had signed him. So Joe gets that opportunity this afternoon.
There's Refsnyder, former Boston Red Sox player, now with the Seattle Mariners in his first season here out west. It's tough to, you can't say Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
Right?
You can, but
Well,
it's
you
weird.
can say it's weird.
Yeah.
But when you say former Boston Red Sox, that doesn't work
Nope.
either. So I think
It's a
you have
good
to go
one.
Sox player.
Probably the easiest way to do it.
Mentioned Johnny Pareda just called up Saturday. Only his 50th big league game today. Bounced around Marlins, A's, Twins, and now the Mariners. And Perez had him out in front on the changeup.
He's got that pitch working really, really well. Again, just a couple had gotten away from him in that one inning. Back in the third, but he also reset really quickly to get out of it.
Broken bat. It will fall. So Pareda 2 for 2. A message right here from Alpha Insurance.
No matter what life throws your way, we'll be there knocking it out of the park. Getting you back home safe and sound. That's life with Alpha Insurance.
Tell you what, Johnny Pareda plays with a lot of joy. He was smiling and he flipped his bat after that second hit.
I mean, not too many bat flips on against a changeup where you break your bat. You get that excited about it, but he's going to have fun. You mentioned not a lot of playing time at the big league level. He's going to enjoy every moment of it.
And he has half of the Mariners' hits today, 2 of the 4. This guy has one of them. Rivas had a double in the third. Riley waits on to second, high throw, but the play is made. So 2 away now. Back to the top, J.P. Crawford. Been the Mariners starting shortstop since back in 2019 when he was traded from the Phillies. He is in the final season of a 5-year $51 million extension he signed back in April of 22. So this is a big year for J.P. Crawford.
The Mariners have that young prospect. Is he a shortstop, the kid that they gave all the money to?
Colt Emerson.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in AAA right now. $95 million extension for Colt Emerson before his debut.
I haven't looked in a while, but I know they said around here that they'll be struggling a little bit at the minor league level. Just 223 right now.
Ozzie in. And Martin Perez pitching well through 5. Both pitchers really good today. We've got a duel here in the Pacific Northwest. One to nothing Seattle here in Seattle on a 60-degree cloudy day. We go to the 6th. And Drake Baldwin leading things off. Yellowwood bringing the lumber feature on Mr. Drake Baldwin. Entering today, National League ranked top 3 in all of these categories for Baldwin.
He's been great. It's been fun to see here in year number 2 for Drake Baldwin. He has not slowed down. If anything, he has gotten better from a year ago.
Which is amazing. All that he's been able to accomplish already, and he hasn't even played a year and a half in the bigs.
I was just happy I could spit out that sentence. I was fighting off a little brain freeze, trying to crush the ice cream during break. Not a great idea.
How was it though? Good soft serve here.
They got soft serve here, and they kind of keep it limited on the toppings, which is nice. They don't overdo it, but they did have Butterfinger, so a little vanilla, a little Butterfinger, and it's time to rally.
And it is Brian Wu back out there. We mentioned how they're pretty conservative with him and his pitch count, which is at 91 right now, but he's going to at least start the 6th here.
Yeah, they got some action in their bullpen, and for him now, this next pitch will tie his season high.
He has been tremendous. 7 strikeouts, and the Braves just 1 hit against Wu. But the Braves 31 foul balls, helping to drive up that pitch count so that he can't go deep in this game. He does get strikeout number 8.
And it's against the changeup here, and even though he's trying to throw this pitch away, good location down and in, he gets Drake Baldwin to expand.
Ozzie had an 8-pitch walk his last time up. Hits this one a mile into the air. Second time he's done this towards the third baseman Rivas today, and both times Rivas has made the catch. All right, maybe Matty O's the guy here. You got Wu late in his outing, 94 pitches, one of the hottest hitters in baseball, and Matt Olson coming to the plate. One and one, sweeper lands. One ball, 2 strikes. Let's go inside the numbers, brought to you by Hyundai. So the only 2 Braves to reach these marks through their first 37 games of a season is Hank Aaron at 59 and Matt Olson in 2026. How about that?
Yeah, and so as I sit there and get kind of focused on Matt Olson, I can't help but ignore that .453 batting average for Hank Aaron. That's
incredible.
It's absurd.
It's absolutely absurd. Now Matt Olson thought about it. He started to put his hand towards his helmet, but it looked like that was in the zone. And 6 innings of 1-hit ball with 9 strikeouts for Wu.
Yeah, I think it was there. Too close probably to challenge in that spot.
Welcome into the Rooms to Go Lounge, where my partner Peter Moll and I are sitting in some very incredibly comfortable chairs. Pitchers duel out in Seattle. What do we got to do?
Just got to obviously put some good bats together like we have done against Wu. Hopefully it's the 6th inning and he's out of the game.
You said last night, Wu is disgusting. Love to see him out of there. Guys.
Yeah, so Wu will be done, and thankfully so. Right now, Martin Perez still in the game. And a pretty good pitch count for Perez. That is number 75. As we check out who's got the defensive edge, brought to you by Comcast Business, and it certainly is Perez today.
It's been excellent, and again, it goes back to the location for Martin Perez, where he's lived on the edges. He's gotten chased when he has needed it, responded nicely when he had his back against the wall. He stayed away from the big inning, despite the fact that he had bases loaded and nobody out, the sign of a good veteran pitcher, and some good defense behind him.
Faces 2, 3, 4 here in the 6th, and that got a piece of Cal Raleigh. The injury that Raleigh had been dealing with that left him out of the game Saturday, Sunday, and Monday was what they deemed right side soreness that he tweaked on Friday. MRI was clean. He has never been on the injured list in his 6-year Major League Baseball career, and he was able to avoid that again.
It was 2-2.
It was 2. Yeah, it was 2-2.
There was a check swing in there earlier that ended up getting called a strike, and then he had the foul ball that he fouled off his ankle. And Martin Perez does a really nice job finishing him off here with that changeup again, figuring out ways to get Chase in the right counts.
5 strikeouts. That's a big one there to start the 6th against Raleigh. And now here's Julio Rodriguez. Rodriguez, who burst onto the scene back in 2022 as the AL Rookie of the Year. That's the season that Michael Harris won it in the National League. And Spencer Strider finished 2nd in the voting that year as Rookie of the Year candidate. Changeup has been working for Perez today.
Such a great pitch right there. It's a 2-0 count. You're geared up for a fastball. It does not mean you can throw a changeup necessarily in the middle of the plate. I'm not saying you have to dot it the way that Martin Perez did, but my goodness, he's got good command of that. Looks like we might have, was that Tyler Kinley down there warming up, I believe?
Yes. This ball is hit high and deep and gone. Rodriguez solo homer to double the Mariners' lead.
Martin had worked his changeup so well here this afternoon, and especially against Julio Rodriguez. But that one there in the middle in a 3-1 count. And Julio's pretty excited about his home run.
Perez not as excited. That was 110 miles per hour off the bat. And then Naylor skies it on the infield. And Matt Olson calls for it. So Rodriguez with a homer. He gets the trident to celebrate, but that Mariners bullpen is still going to have to get 9 outs against this Braves powerful offense. And indeed it is Kinley getting ready for Atlanta, and he will come into the ball game now to face Randy Arozarena.
My name is Bob Searcy from Salt Lake City, Utah. And my grandpa back in Montana, I used to go up every summer and watched him every week on TBS. That's how I became a fan. And till this day, I've been a fan back in the 80s.
Just popping open social media coming back from this commercial break, and so many people have sent notes to our Braves Vision account, to CJ and Wiley and I, telling their story of becoming a Braves fan because of Ted Turner. And Ted will forever be missed but never forgotten, and we honor him today on the day that he passed this morning at age 87.
And I love hearing these first-hand account stories, as you mentioned, via social media, and then those that we're seeing now. Wiley and Shooter have done a good job, and don't have to work too hard to find Braves fans in this ballpark. They're everywhere, but to hear those first-hand accounts in their own voices, that's fun.
And the passion too. That's going to get into the outfield for a single for Arozarena. Even if Jarvis gets his glove on that to stop it, he's not going to get Arozarena at first base.
I would agree. Just hit in the perfect spot there between Austin Riley and Jim Jarvis. You're going to watch Riley kind of go full extension here. And as deep as he's playing on top of that, and certainly for Jarvis, that would have been a near impossible play.
So Kinley comes on here to replace Martin Perez. The single given up to Arozarena. Now he faces Cole Young. And I know Perez is going to be frustrated about that pitch to Rodriguez, but the bottom line, CJ, 5 2/3, 2 runs. He pitched well today.
Oh, he was excellent. Absolutely excellent. And the good version of Martin Perez showed up today, and he's kept the Braves in this game.
Trouble. And to third. That's the good news. The throw into second is late. It's a double for Young, 2 in scoring position.
Well, it's against the slider here for Tyler Kinley, and this one staying belt high where he wants it, further down in the strike zone. But he hit it hard enough. It worked out better. Big bounce off the wall there. Mike Yastrzemski was able to get it in quickly.
So now this is a really important at bat here, as Kinley tries to get out of this, keeping it a 2-0 ball game. Connor Joe, the hitter. Joe 0 for 2 today. Slider lands in there. If it gets beyond Joe, Johnny Pareda is in the on-deck circle here for Seattle.
But surprising we hadn't seen both of these potential plate appearances, one of those lefties come off the bench against Tyler Kinley.
Riley has it. Across it goes. So just the one on the homer. See how the Braves now do against the Mariners bullpen. Reminder about this cool Mike Harris bobblehead May 13th with his dog Cash. Look at that. How cool is that? Braves.com/promos to purchase your tickets. Come out and get the bobblehead and see the Braves in action. All right, so now it's the Braves against the Mariners bullpen. They get Brian Wu out of there. He was tremendous. 6 innings, 1 run, 9 strikeouts. It's on to Cooper Criswell.
12 games so far. Good ERA. Average strikeout rate. Gets a lot of ground balls.
And there's one right there. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Changeup, 2-seamer, cutter, sweeper, some 4-seamers in there as well. Doesn't throw hard. Sits around 91 miles an hour, but again, he knows how to keep the baseball on the ground. But he has allowed, shockingly for having the high ground ball rate, 3 home runs already this year in his 15 and a third innings.
Criswell is a native of Carrollton, Georgia. So he's a Georgia kid. Pitched at North Carolina for the Tar Heels. Take a look at our Working on a Win feature brought to you by our friends at Home Depot. How about these hard hit balls numbers?
So live and updated, actually, the Los Angeles Dodgers have already completed their game, so they're exactly at the same number. So we need at least one more going into that series before we get down there with the 421 hard hit balls there. But it does speak to just how good this offense has been. We've talked about it a lot, not just that they're scoring runs and doing everything else, but how loud it has been off their bats this year. And that's why they've been the best and have the most hard hit balls.
Yeah, the Dodgers finishing their series in Houston, winning 12-2 today. So they will get on their plane and head back home. The Braves will head down the coast after this one. Both teams will have an off day tomorrow. Start that series on Friday. Dubon flies to right. Georgia Natural Gas will bring you the stretch and more on Ted Turner from Paul Bird and Peter Moylan when we hit the stretch.
I really didn't even think about it until Gretchen said Peter and Paul.
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
We got to get a Mary in there somehow. We know a Mary that could help out on the pre and post game show and 7th inning stretch. Make it complete.
Peter, Paul, and Wiley. Doesn't work the same. One ball and 2 strikes here to Austin Riley. Riley high and pretty deep, but also well fouled. Game 1 of this series had a fair amount of offense and a lot of home runs. Yesterday, more like this ballpark, 3-2, and then again today, 2-0. Pareda.
Oh gosh, that's not even close.
And they're down to 1. Full count. Yastrzemski would be next for Atlanta here in the 7th. Braves just 3 base runners today, a couple of walks and a single against Brian Wu, and now the bullpen and Criswell. And Criswell works a 1-2-3 top of the 7th and sends us to the stretch.
Welcome to the stretch, fueled by Georgia Natural Gas. Service, savings, sustainability. It's that simple.
Welcome into the stretch, fueled by Georgia Natural Gas. Pete and Paul here with you. And Bertie, today obviously some sad news with the passing of Ted Turner. You were lucky enough to have a front row seat to the Ted Turner show, and a great story about the first time you met him.
Absolutely. We can't be too sad because of everything that he's done. It certainly is a huge loss. The first time I met Ted, I'm playing for the USA team in the Goodwill Games, something that Ted envisioned and started in '86. This is now 1990, and we're playing against Russia. I'm doing my best to communicate with the Russians. We're trading gum, and the next thing you know, here comes Ted and Jane in the front row. He was loud, he was boisterous, he was a blast, and he had a great laugh, and he commanded a presence like no other. So we totally stopped talking, and I'm like, that's Ted Turner, Jane Fonda. I turned to the Russians and I said, Ted Turner. And they look at me like, of course, you idiot. We all know who Ted Turner is. And that's when I realized that his presence was worldwide, a presence so big that later when I got the opportunity to play for the Braves before a big playoff start, and you never go talk to the starting pitcher, he said to Greg Maddux in front of the whole room while he was giving us the talk, Greg, we pay you so much, you should never lose. We all started laughing except Greg, but it was exactly what we needed to warm us up, get us ready for the game. No one can say that to him.
Unbelievable
except
stuff.
Ted Turner.
Great stuff, Bertie. Let's get you back out to Seattle after a message from our friends at Georgia Natural Gas.
When it comes to natural gas in Georgia, G&G leads the league. We keep it simple with great rates that save you money. We even make it easy to reduce your carbon footprint with greener life. Sign up in minutes at gng.com. It's that simple.
Getaway day here in Seattle at T-Mobile Park, series finale, Braves and Mariners, and we are joined by the lone member of the Jarvis family who was able to get here, Jim's older sister, Kate. You know, your little brother's making his Major League debut. Start with this. What are the emotions for you as an older sister?
Oh my God, nothing but just incredible pride and excitement. I mean, Jim has worked so hard to be here. I can't think of anybody more deserving. It's unreal, to be honest with you. I'm delighted.
Now, you two are 2 of 5 kids. So can you give us kind of a play-by-play? When did you find out this was happening? And What were the conversations on the family group text?
Oh my gosh, well, it's still absolutely blowing up. All of my brothers, sisters, dad, everybody's talking, everybody's going crazy, sending photos. But I got the call at 6 a.m. and then 7 a.m. this morning. I was down in San Diego and just immediately was running around my apartment going, how am I going to make it there? I got to make it there. Nothing is as important as being here to support Jim. So I hopped on the next flight up here, and here I am.
And where's everybody else right now? Where's Dad? Where are the other siblings?
Totally, yeah. Everybody else, while they wish they could be here, they're out on the East Coast, so it was a little bit more of a trek to get out here, but are certainly watching and supporting from afar.
So tell me, when did you realize that Jim had a chance to get to this level of baseball?
You know, the second he, 2 years old, put on those little sweatpants in Little League, you know, drug his bat up with a graham cracker in hand and cracked a ball off the tee, I was like, this kid's got something. He's going places. And they all are. All of my brothers are so talented. So it's so unreal to see him actually out here and playing.
Really got a foul ball there. Now I'm told wife Maddie she's close. What is the latest on wife Maddie?
She is in the Uber. I think she's probably less than 5 minutes from the stadium, so we're really looking forward to her getting here, and I'm sure ball is headed right over here. That she will get the same reception I did, which is just getting run into the stadium to see Jim. So she should be here any minute. We're so excited.
All right, well, Jim's due up third in the top of the eighth, so we're going to try and pull this off. But I got to ask this as someone who's got younger siblings. Any good younger sibling nicknames for Jim? Anything we can give him a little grief on?
You know, I mean, very fitting for here. What we were calling him growing up was Jimmy Baseball, but we also call him Yim, Y-I-M. I hope that catches on. Yim, good luck out there. You're looking great.
See, this is why we got to get the older siblings on camera. We can let everybody know everything. Kate, congratulations on a great day for you and the whole family, and especially Jim.
Thank you so much. Yeah, go Braves. So excited to be here.
All right, thanks, kid. All right, guys, we got Jimmy Baseball out there in short.
I'm all in. It's not Johnny Football, it's Jimmy Baseball. I love it. And by the way, I think Kate could get into broadcasting.
Pretty comfortable.
Phenomenal. But a cool story. We hope that wife Maddie gets here for the at-bat in the 8th inning. But a special moment certainly for the Jarvis family today. All right, you got Fuentes out there. So in Perez, Kinley, and now Fuentes trying to get through the 7th here for the Braves.
And with Didier Fuentes, we know, of course, he is a starter at heart, but in this bullpen right now for the Braves, and regular work is going to be important for him. You want to keep him sharp, and so he had pitched last in Colorado, just 2/3 of an inning, and while he was having that conversation about kind of deconditioning when you have guys that are doing both and being a little bit careful about that, I think the idea of Fuentes pitching with regularity, maybe even some multi-inning outings, is going to be important. So maybe we get 2 from him here this afternoon.
So you want to try to avoid, for a guy who's coming off being a starter, you throw an inning, you sit for 5 or 6 days,
yeah,
right?
100%.
Yeah. Challenge it, yes. I think that's a strike.
What makes it so unique with him is that he can be high leverage. Right, a lot of times when you're having guys go back and forth between the rotation and the bullpen, so there's your punch out, is that they're more often than not kind of longer guys and maybe not high leverage, but Fuentes can pitch in high leverage situations.
He painted that for his first strikeout today. Good challenge by Sean Murphy, who has done a tremendous job back there. He's perfect challenging today, 3 for 3.
It's like he had something to prove today after that first time around, so make it 3 for 5 now on the season.
And most Braves fans know, but keep in mind for Murphy, just a second game at the big league level this year. Missed the first 35, recovering from that hip surgery with the labrum tear. So he is working his way back up to full speed. While Murphy gets his equipment figured out, we give you a quick message from Zaxby's.
Zaxby's giant chicken finger quesadillas. Get them while you can. Who's got the sauce?
Zaxby's.
Broken glove on that fastball. I think that cut a little bit on Fuentes.
I think so. He's going to the backup.
These are the kind of pitches that can catch the web in the wrong way. You see how Murphy's set up, and yep, almost went through it.
So new glove, no longer two-toned.
I'm talking about pitchers and getting that swing and miss, and maybe it hits a batter. Kind of a fun one, breaking bats. Breaking a catcher's glove, put that near the top of the list.
2 walks today for Crawford. Cal Raleigh 0 for 3. Swing and a miss from the left side here against Fuentes. Cal Raleigh's from Western North Carolina, by the way, only about 150 miles from Atlanta, where he was born. Smoky Mountain High School in Sylva, North Carolina, then started at Florida State before getting drafted by the Mariners. Almost won that MVP last year. Would have been the Mariners' first since Ichiro back in 2001.
I saw Ichiro here yesterday. When we were walking in, he was walking out to the garage.
Yeah, you pointed out, I was like, oh my gosh, that was Ichiro.
He still hangs out. It's an interesting situation with him. And ask some people around here, like, he'll still take batting practice. He still is in the clubhouse. He spends some time with Julio Rodriguez. Apparently they're close. It's a little weird, I'm not gonna lie to you. And he's still suiting up once in a while and taking BP.
He misses the game.
Well, if you guys had gotten here like I did early, you would have seen him take BP yesterday.
How do you look?
He looked better than me.
All right, well, that's the bar.
He looked pretty good. He looked pretty good.
I don't get it, man. Why is he taking BP?
I don't know. Wiley, we were having a goat cheese omelet back at the hotel, so sorry we didn't invite you.
I'm going to be honest, that doesn't sound like something that's up my alley.
That wasn't really happening.
They don't serve Pop-Tarts at that restaurant.
That's why you got to bring your own, CJ.
Well, Fuentes got ahead, but now it's a full count. Mariners with a run in the third, another one last inning on the Rodriguez homer. Fuentes trying to send us to the 8th. Raleigh has other plans. Another 3-2 pitch. Got him. Fouled into the mitt of Murphy. We're on our way to the 8th.
Only at Rooms to Go.
I'm Angie. I'm from Juneau, Alaska, born and raised. I heard the name David Justice when I was 11, and I was like, that's a cool name. And the Braves were on TBS, and so it was easy to watch, and that's how I became a Braves fan.
I'm Clifford. I'm from Virginia. TBS is important. That's how I fell in love with baseball. You know what I mean, just watching it. That's the only channel we had in Richmond at the time.
Ted Turner passing this morning at the age of 87, but his legacy will forever live on. He forever changed not only this organization, but really television, sports on television. And we will remember him not only today, but in the coming days and weeks and months. The great Ted Turner. Bizzardo is in here in the 8th. See if the Braves can get on the scoreboard here. They've been held to just a single hit so far.
And he's been really good. Low 1.15 ERA. Lots of fastballs, 2-seamers that you get from Bizzardo. You also have Mitch Garver behind the plate now defensively for the Seattle Mariners.
Taking over for Pareda. Mariners try to hand the Atlanta Braves their first series loss of the season. Braves 10-0-1 so far through 11 series to start 2026.
I think I just saw Rick Riz. He told me that I mentioned that to him. I say it's getting close here. I guess when the Mariners had that great year where they won 116 games, they started the year with the same number that the Braves had. Is that right? It's 11 series unlost.
It's the last team to win 11 of their first 12 series was the 2001 Mariners. There is the great Rick Riz, by the way. You see 41st season. He is retiring after this year. Longest tenured broadcaster in franchise history. He's going to get to spend more time with his family, with his grandkids. But he is a legend in this area and a legend in the broadcasting business. So hats off to Rick on a tremendous career.
One of the greats and just a really great person. Always treats you like a friend every time I've had a chance to see him, and I have quite a bit over the years, especially when I was here in the American League West.
Yastrzemski hits it hard, and it drops in front of Rodriguez and squirts away, but not far enough for Yaz to get to second. So there is the second hit here today for the Braves.
And they're back on tap with the hard hit lead here, as this one was hit 106 miles an hour for Mike Yastrzemski. Good to see, right back up the box for a leadoff base hit. It's a bad decision by Julio Rodriguez, and he is lucky that he got his glove on that baseball.
Yeah, if that gets by him, Yastrzemski could have run for a long time. By the way, Jim Jarvis was going to bat third this inning, but Dom Smith has grabbed a bat and moved into the on-deck circle. It's kind of bittersweet there. Even if wife Maddie makes it, she will not see Jim Jarvis at the plate. Murphy lines it out to right center. Yastrzemski heads for third. The Braves are in business here in the top of the eighth.
Good piece of hitting here from Sean Murphy as he stays on the sweeper and goes to the opposite field. Good base running as well here from Mike Yastrzemski. He's got a great read on it, zero hesitation. The Braves are going to add some speed to the base pass now.
Yeah, Mateo mentioned he's got the finger issue, but good to run, so he takes over for Sean Murphy. And it is Dom Smith coming to the plate. Replaces Jim Jarvis in his big league debut. Take a look at our quick change stats presented by Valvoline Instant Oil. Braves have been so good seventh inning or later. 14 comeback wins, most in baseball, and hoping for a 15th today. That is wife Maddie there on the right. She made it, but not getting to see Jim Jarvis bat. But she got here, and I'm sure that she will be making the trip down the coast to San Diego and hopefully get to see Jim play against the Dodgers. Oh, 2 fouled away.
So the other part of this game right now here with the Mariners, we talked about it yesterday, and what is the availability for Andres Munoz, their closer? 23 pitches yesterday, 14 more on Monday, so it's back-to-back, and also 3 out of 4 because he threw on Saturday, so it would appear that he probably is not available. Ferrer also went back-to-back days for the Seattle Mariners. They do have a couple lefties in their bullpen. The other one, of course, is Jose Suarez. I think Ferrer might be warming up down there.
This one's going to go foul. Simpson is the lefty warming up.
I had him listed as a righty because I'm dumb. And when it said RP, of course, that means relief pitcher, not right-handed pitcher.
And then Hoppy the other one. Be kind to yourself.
Nah, I deserve that.
Dom Smith lifts it in the air out to deep center. Just in front of the wall, it's taken in by Rodriguez. But the Braves are on the board. Yastrzemski comes home. It is 2-1. So close to another Dom Smith moment.
But productive nonetheless, right? Especially after he got down in the count 0-2. He fouls off a couple of tough pitches and then gets one that he can handle and get in the air to get the Braves on the board.
Visit to the mound from Pete Woodworth, the pitching coach, and here is a message from Delta.
From Braves country to the world. Delta, official airline of the Atlanta Braves.
So everybody's in there for this conversation as Drake Baldwin will come to the plate for Atlanta. Checking over on Mateo, representing the tying run at first base.
We saw the change in coming into this series. Now Mitch Garver behind the plate has thrown out 3 of 9, so he's thrown the ball pretty well. We know, of course, Mateo can absolutely fly. They're challenging us. I mean, how much time just passed between that?
Interesting. All right. Lance Barksdale making the announcement.
I wonder if they're wondering if Mateo came off the bag or if they actually thought the tag happened beforehand. But didn't that seem like a long time passed?
A long time, yeah. And it seemed benign. Didn't look like anybody was paying attention.
They're showing it on the big board here, and they think that Jorge Mateo is out. Josh Naylor's walking off the bag like he is too.
I think they may have gotten him. Yeah, I think they got him.
It's hard to tell where the contact is there. I don't know. That feels like too close to overturn. They'll sync them up and they'll get a real good look at it.
Yeah, let's hope that they don't have enough evidence. Caught Mateo off guard, and that throw was right there where Naylor could just let his glove go into the backside of Mateo.
And again, we were it was not even on our radar, but it felt like more than, what is it, 15 seconds that you have. It felt like it passed by. Maybe not, obviously not.
Bizzardo trying to stay loose. They're clearly taking a long look at this.
So best case scenario, of course, is that Mateo is safe and Bizzardo builds up a little bit of rust. Mateo's got to be pretty nervous right now. It's cannot be a good feeling.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is out.
That is a tough one for the Braves. Couple more looks.
See, Mateo was already working his way back. What it was, he kind of decelerated as he went to touch the bag. He wasn't even necessarily in the spot where you're saying, why didn't he slide? It was just that it felt like he slowed down a little bit.
And then Baldwin gets a single up the middle. So a tough sequence, but the inning does continue, and now you've got Ozzie coming to the plate. And for Ozzie, that 17-game hit streak, longest in his career, is also on the line here. Swing and a miss. So the sweeper for Bizzardo working. 0-2.
As good as he has been against lefties, and he has dominated, the numbers really strong still for Ozzie against righties this year.
The righty Bizzardo deals, and Ozzie fights it off.
So Mitch Garver wanted that fastball elevated. It ended up being belt tying in. When you're a two-seam fastball pitcher, the way that Bizzardo is, it's not necessarily your prototypical fastball to elevate, right? Because it wants to come down because of that two-seam grip. You got to work hard to get that pitch up above the strike zone.
Braves with one in here in the 8th. Open for more as Ozzie fouls off another pitch. Braves have had the best offense in baseball. They've scored the most runs by a wide margin, second most in homers behind the Yankees. Now trying to get those bats to life here in the 8th inning. That misses. Been a 4-1 road trip so far for Atlanta. After this, on to LA for 3 against the Dodgers Friday through Sunday. He goes after the two-seamer in the dirt. Now he's talking with Ryan Additive.
He wants a foul tip. He's saying you didn't. He's like, you didn't hear it? Ozzie believes he fouled it.
Yeah, he thought he did. Thought he got a piece of it. All right, CJ, let's take a look at this as we go to break.
Was there a foul tip? Did Ozzie get a piece of this?
Tough to tell.
Didn't look like it.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by Truist. A Wednesday afternoon here in Seattle, pitchers duel. 2-1 is the score. On to the bottom of the 8th. As Fuentes will face 3, 4, 5 in the order. So a couple of changes for the Braves. Dubon goes from center to short with Jarvis out of the game. Eli White takes over in center, and then now Baldwin is catching. And Fuentes still on the mound. It was hard to tell, but yeah, I don't know that Ozzie got a piece of that.
No, I don't think so. And we even tried to listen to it in the break. You really couldn't hear anything there. Ozzie thought maybe he felt something and was kind of hoping that would be the case.
Right there at the knees. And Rodriguez will challenge.
Reluctantly challenging that,
Yeah.
right? And I mentioned he's only done it now twice so far this season.
It is a strike. Rodriguez is done.
And they're out, right?
Yes.
Bad challenge. You got the lead right now. You're going to go into the bottom of the 9th inning, assuming everything kind of stays the way it is. I think you'd rather have him on the pitching side for the bottom of the 9th inning.
Meanwhile, the Braves have both.
What I say, top?
Bottom top.
Yeah.
Potato, potato.
The 9th inning. Whenever we're going to play that. Oh, we're on the road. That's right. So many Braves fans here.
Yeah. I think you're
felt
at
like
home.
we're at home. My bad. Or you can go back to what I said about knowing the relief pitchers in the bullpen.
Naylor with a scorcher out to center. Hey, Braves.tv is now offering a limited time deal. So through May 10th, the end of this weekend, you can get it for not $99.99, but $64.99. That's only 55 cents a game for the rest of the season. Lock it in before May 10th at midnight. Arozarena.
We've seen some consistent 99s here this afternoon from Fuentes. Fastball has looked really good.
He got 2 strikeouts last inning and 1 this inning, so already 3. Pretty good slider. 1-2 to Arozarena.
So remember what we saw last night, right, with Randy Arozarena? We know there's chase in there, and you can continue to go wide if you're comfortable with the breaking ball.
Runner takes off. Lost his bat. That's how good that pitch was. Naylor sliding into second base. 2 down and already 4 strikeouts here for Didier Fuentes.
It's a good job all the way around. You have Drake Baldwin setting up the way that he did and taking full advantage of what Randy Arozarena is going to give you, which is some chase in a pretty unbalanced swing. No chance for Drake Baldwin because this was a big jump. I think once again with Naylor, as much as he's been sneaky stealing bases, not so great with the slides.
No, he hurt himself on a headfirst slide yesterday, and similar there. It's like a belly flop.
I'll tell you what, he's gotten this thing figured out as far as guessing when to go, because it was a very short lead and kind of a casual look to him. We saw it again last night. Once he gets there, yeah, you're right, it is belly flop city.
Well, he's lucky he didn't hurt that right hand. That could have been bad. It is amazing, though. So he starts out his career for the first 6 years, 24 stolen bases, 30 last year. Now he has 7 this year and 3 in the series.
Got to keep a closer eye on him. He's also cheating pretty badly with that oven mitt.
Yeah, you pointed that out yesterday. It's dangling to give himself a couple extra inches.
I mean, at least a couple. The fact that you can see the base of his thumb there. I mean, he's got, I bet he's pushing 4, 5, maybe 6 inches there. He was to put his 2 hands next to each other.
I mean, that's something they should have to correct, because that can be the difference between an out and another stolen base. Did Lance Barksdale just say something to him, or did he do that? He kind of pushed it up.
Look at the difference in his hands right there. Come on.
2-2 here to Cole Young. Thinking ahead to the top of the 9th, it'll be Olsen, Harrison, Dubon, 3, 4, 5. So you like that for Atlanta. They've got Ferrer, the lefty, in the pin right now for the Mariners. 3-2. Makes some sense with Olsen and Harris due up. Payoff pitch. And the Mariners are going to add some insurance here in the 8th. RBI double, Cole Young.
That's a big one here, and for Fuentes, he goes to the slider, and you can kind of just see it spinning, right? That was not the good version of his slider. Not a lot of movement on it at all. Turns into almost an 87-mile-an-hour kind of BP fastball.
And Seattle with a 3-1 lead now as Naylor comes home. Been a bunch of paper cuts today. The Mariners with single runs in the 3rd, 6th, and 8th. The Braves with one here in the top of the 8th as well. Joe down to the count 0-2. Braves pitching 33 strikeouts in the series. Season high 16 yesterday. Fuentes has helped add to that total. No strikeout here. Down the line. In the air long enough for Yastrzemski. 3-1. We go to the top of the ninth. Matt Olson will lead it off. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. By the Georgia Lottery. Get a nice hit of cash with a new hit family of scratchers from the Georgia Lottery. And by Rooms to Go. Buy the piece, save a little. Buy the room, save a lot. Welcome back to Seattle. 3-1. The Mariners trying to hand the Braves their first series loss of the year. See if the Braves bats can get something going here in the ninth. Hey, tune in Friday, a couple of days from now, May 8th. Friday Night Showdown brought to you by Kaiser Permanente. Braves and Dodgers. What a showdown it's going to be in LA. Coverage will begin 9:30 p.m. Eastern on Braves Vision. The lefty Ferrer is on for the Mariners.
So it'll be 3 straight now here, as we mentioned, for Ferrer. Good numbers, not a big strikeout guy, but he does have a big time fastball.
Matt Olson deep to left to start the ninth, but at the track it is taken in by Arozarena. Matt just missing his 3rd homer of the series. He gave it a ride, but it died.
Yeah, cut down on that launch angle, and that one is out of here. Remember, we talked about kind of as a left-handed hitter, what are you looking for launch angle wise, left to right, bring that down a little bit, and things get a little bit more interesting.
So 1 away. Here's Harris. Mentioned for Ferrer the other day. The Braves saw him in the NL East previously with the Nationals, and he came over in a trade for catching prospect Harry Ford this offseason. Trying to bolster that bullpen. 1-1 pitch. Broken bat. Crawford makes the throw. Braves down to their final out here. Mauricio Dubon 1 for 3 as one of the Braves' 4 hits today.
Well, they got no challenges left. They wanted that one. It goes back to Julio Rodriguez in the previous inning. Let's hope that cost them.
Braves have both remaining. And if you're Dubon, just trying to find a way on here to give Austin Riley a chance. One 1 ball, 2 strikes, 26,000 to their feet at T-Mobile Park. One ball, 2 strikes. Ferrer deals upstairs. The series streak on the line here for Atlanta. First time that the Braves have ever opened the season without losing the first 11 series, but now in series number 12, the Mariners close. Dubon foul by looked like maybe a foot, almost. Extra bases for Mauricio.
He almost pulled this trick one more time where he gets short against velocity and hits it to the opposite field, but unfortunately just a little bit foul.
That's going to prompt Garver to go out and talk with Ferrer.
Yeah, this could be about location of the fastball, right? You don't want to walk Mauricio Dubon, but he does a good job of getting to that pitch that is middle away, despite the fact that there's good velo behind it. So could it be that Mitch Garver wants the ball in or in a different spot? Does he want it up? Try to go to one of your secondary pitches. He does have a changeup and a slider, but he is heavy two-seam fastball, 61%.
Dubon had a huge hit down the right field line in Colorado and one yesterday. He's going to challenge, and why not? Can't take him to LA with you.
That's what they wanted, right? They did want to go in with the fastball instead of trying to go away. The question becomes now, did it come back enough to catch the corner?
Just enough. And the Braves proved to be human. For the first time this year, they have lost a series. The Mariners take 2 out of 3.
That's a well-pitched game. Martin Perez did a really nice job. Brian Wu, though, was excellent today. You got to tip your cap a little bit to the Seattle Mariners in this one.
Back to wrap it up.